Hey guys, what's up? It is July 4th, Independence Day for you American folks. And we've got our wine. We're going to do this weekly Winedup. We're drinking Arbor Mist, Red Moscato, Cherry. We're going to talk about the time that my mom left me for dead in Baltimore City on the 4th of July. But before we get into all that, let me kind of tell you about what my July 4th was like as a kid. So when I was little, my dad was in the Army and we lived on base, and we used to go to the lake that was on base and we would watch the fireworks. We would normally have a cookout. My mom's family would come down. We would normally eat 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, head to the lake around 4, and then, just hang out at the lake until the fireworks started. Then we would go home, and that would be that. My mom's family lived in Delaware. They would drive home that night, and that's kind of like what it was. Now, my mom and dad started going through a rough patch in their marriage. Eventually, they did divorce, but this was during that time. So I don't know, I was probably 10 or 11, and there was 4 kids in my family. So I was the oldest. Then I have a brother that's 2 years younger than me, and then my mom had twins, and they're 6 years younger than I am. So we were at the harbor in Baltimore City, and we were near Federal Hill, and it's like this big hill. And I was sitting, I was walking with my mom, and we found these puppies, because it's like you had to walk through this sidewalk, and there were these puppies there, and I was like, oh, look at these puppies. And my mom bent down and was looking at the puppies, and she told me to stay with my dad, and I didn't want to stay with my dad because my mom and my dad were fighting, and I was the oldest, so I kind of had a better understanding, even at that age, of kind of what was going on, and that my dad was the bad guy. So I didn't want to be with him. I wanted to be with my mom. And my mom took off. I was bent down, I was petting the dog, and I turned around and my mom was gone. This was July 4th. It is insane, it is crazy, it is crowded. There are a ton of people that I don't know all around me, and I start crying. And my mom and dad had fought, and some of my mom's family was there, and I guess my dad and his boss and his boss's wife, who I believe my dad was involved with his wife, and that's kind of why my mom got so upset. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Anyway, I just remember crying, and I was there for a while, and then my dad came and got me, and then I remember driving home, and my mom and my dad finally, I guess met up. And my dad was screaming at my mom, and there were cops that were trying to direct traffic, and my dad was yelling at the cops, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, oh my God, this is all my fault, all because my mom left me. It was horrible. It was traumatic. Oh my God. Who just leaves their child just for dead in Baltimore City? Good Lord. Oh my God. I feel like I should be on Prozac, or I don't know, one of those type of things, right? I don't even know. So that is the only time that we ever went to Baltimore City. I went to Baltimore City with my daughter a few years ago. She wanted to go see fireworks, and I was like, let's go to Fort Meade, and she wanted to go to the city, so I took her to the city. We took the light rail into the city, and when we were coming back, of course, it takes forever. So it's an hour and a half before you can catch a train that is not completely full and you can actually get on. And then we got on the train, and then somebody had got off at one stop, and he got out of the train, and he had a fruit punch bottle. He took the bottle, took the cap off, and threw it in the light rail, and it splattered all over the place. It splattered all over me. Why? Just because he wanted to be a jerk. That's why. That's the only reason. I didn't know who he was. It wasn't actually done directly towards me. But, you know, it got everybody who was in that section. He was just a jerk. So, I digress. So, yeah, 4th of July memories. Whatever. They haven't all been bad, you guys. I've had some pretty good 4th of July memories. Greg and I have actually never gone out to see fireworks. I went out a couple years when we first got together and like took the kids with me, and then I just stopped going because the traffic is so bad and it's kind of pointless, and the fireworks started getting really bad and it just was it was pointless. But now where we live, we can see the fireworks from our living room window, from what I understand, or our yard. And because our house is on the hill, we actually have like one of the best views from what we've been told. And we've been told that by the owner of the house, the realtor who sold us the house, who was actually friends with the original owners, all the contractors and stuff that we've had come into this house. They're all like, oh, you guys are going to have a real good view come July 4th. And this is stuff that we heard from like February all the way through. It's like, that's the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is like, wow, you guys are going to have a good view on the 4th of July. So I'm excited to see. I don't know, it should be interesting. I'll see what I can get and have uploaded on my daily channel of what we can actually see. But I wanted to tell you guys about my 4th of July traumatic experience. My parents went home that night and they fought. Oh my God, did they fight. But my parents were only together for maybe another year or 2 years after that, and then they split up, which I think was a good thing because they were toxic. And then my dad went to go raise a kid that wasn't his, even though he had been married twice before and had kids with both of his wives. And then he marries a third wife, doesn't have a kid with her, but takes care of her kid, but never takes care of his own kids. Yeah, gotta love that. But anyway, can you tell I'm a little bitter? This is what happens when I have a little bit of wine. Alright, for real, that's it. This is going to wrap up the weekly wind-up, and I will see you guys next week. We'll talk about more interesting things. I just had that on my chest, and I just wanted to vomit it out to you guys, and I did that, and now we're going to go. Bye.